Michael Owen tells Man United to sack a not good enough Erik Ten Hag. Manchester United were humiliated by Crystal Palace, and Michael Owen laid into under fire manager Erik Ten Hag after the match. Manchester United were beaten 4-0 by Crystal Palace on Monday night and are now 8th in the Premier League table. Erik Ten Hag has presided over 13 Premier League defeats this season, and United also have a negative goal difference. Michael Owen stuck the boot into Erik Ten Hag following Manchester United's humiliating defeat by Crystal Palace on Monday night. United were beaten 4-0 at Selhurst Park, a result that leaves them 8th in the Premier League table and with a negative goal difference. United fell behind early on to a Michael Olise goal, before further strikes from Jean-Philippe Mateta, Tyrick Mitchell and another from Olise secured United's fate. United have won just one of their last 8 matches, leaving boss Ten Hag under extreme pressure at Old Trafford. Owen hammers Ten Hag and United. He simply cannot manage the team next season. Owen told Opta Sport, "I've said it for a long time. I've sat here for quite a while and I've been saying that Ten Hag is not the right man for this job. I've said it for ages and ages, he cannot, simply cannot, manage the team next season. I almost wonder now, they've got a cup final and they've got a few important games that could mean European football next year or not. At some point you've got to make a decision. They're going to get absolutely hammered by Manchester City, they're going to get annihilated. In fact, Arsenal will smash them to bits at Old Trafford, Newcastle will probably beat them, and I wouldn't even fancy them going to Brighton either. They might not get anything out of the rest of the season, if they are playing like that. I just wonder, with so much at stake, even if it's only for 4 games, I wonder whether the board might just have to do something here and now, and be quite radical about it. I'm not sure, but he cannot, simply cannot, manage this team next season. He's not good enough, I've thought it for ages, he's just not good enough to manage Manchester United." Owen and Scholes question McLaren's influence. Owen believes McLaren could now be an option for Man United. The possibility of assistant coach Steve McLaren taking over until the end of the season was then mooted, to which Owen responded, "They've got to try something different." Anything? Yes. Owen and fellow pundit Paul Scholes, who both worked with McLaren during their playing careers, also raised doubts over how much influence the former England manager has at United given how poorly they have played for the majority of the season. "We played under Steve McLaren, he's coached us, there's no way that his fingerprints are anywhere near that team," Owen said. "He is a brilliant, brilliant coach and that team is not being coached at all. No way Steve McLaren is the first team coach." Scholes added, "It suggests to me he's not touching that team. The manager must not be letting him touch that team, I don't think. Everyone thinks we, United, were a great team that attacked everyone and went at people. Sometimes we played against better teams and Steve McLaren put better sessions on to make sure you stopped other teams, getting the distances right, getting your angles right, especially in the center of midfield, across all midfield. And he has got no impression on that team whatsoever. He's the best coach I ever had." Man United players feel Ten Hag's fate effectively sealed. Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag is under increasing pressure after another disappointing result on Monday night. Some Man United players think Erik Ten Hag's fate is sealed, as his communication, motivation, and empathy have come into question. Ineos won't sack Ten Hag before the FA Cup final, but sources suggest a decision could be made after the season ends. Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag has come under immense pressure this season after a disappointing campaign, with their most recent defeat away to Crystal Palace adding fuel to the fire. Journalist Matt Law has now claimed that some of the United players already believe the Dutch coach's fate is sealed. The Red Devils shipped 4 goals without reply at Selhurst Park on Monday night, with United's chances of qualifying for European football slowly diminishing. The former Ajax manager is undoubtedly under increasing pressure as we head towards the end of the campaign, with suggestions that he could be sacked by Ineos in the summer. Man United players believe Ten Hag will be sacked. Ineos have no intention of sacking him just yet. According to a report from Matt Law of The Telegraph, United have no intention of sacking Ten Hag before their FA Cup final clash with Manchester City. The article also adds that sources have suggested that some players already believe that his fate is effectively sealed. Old Trafford insiders insist that a final decision on Ten Hag's future will not be taken until the end of the season, after the FA Cup final, even though a number of players believe his fate is effectively sealed. Ten Hag's communication with his squad is said to have caused issues this season, with some sources believing he is lacking in motivational skills and empathy. The disappointing performances of late might be explained by some of the squad believing that the current manager won't be there next season. There's no doubt the Red Devils have failed to progress this term, so it wouldn't be a shock to see Ten Hag removed from his position at the end of the season. There have been plenty of calls for Ten Hag to be sacked as soon as possible, including from some former United players. Paul Scholes recently suggested after the Palace defeat that the game felt like the nail in the coffin for Ten Hag, but he also adds that there might not be another manager out there ready to take over. Paul Scholes defends Man United star whose blood will be boiling after defeat to Crystal Palace. Paul Scholes believes Rasmus Højlund's blood will be boiling with Manchester United's inability to create chances for him after drawing a blank again against Crystal Palace. United were thrashed 4-0 at Selhurst Park in another dismal showing from Erik Ten Hag's side. While Casemiro saw 2 headers ruled out, the visitors struggled to create anything of real note, with Bruno Fernandes missing through injury. Højlund in particular had another quiet night in front of goal, having scored just 1 goal in his 9 appearances since returning from injury in March. United legend Scholes sympathised with the Denmark international following the defeat in southeast London, insisting he did not get a chance all game. United look leggy, they look like an old team, Scholes told Premier League Productions. I'm not quite sure where Mason Mount was playing. It's difficult to be critical of Mason Mount because he has just not played any football, but it comes down to coaching. You see, United couldn't, in open play, couldn't create chances. They've got a centre forward there, it makes your blood boil. For him, they are not even getting chances. Rasmus Højlund, I've watched him the last 7 or 8 games. I know he's scored 1 goal, he doesn't get a chance in the game. I asked Michael, Owen, before if you played in this team, would you get chances? He said no. I said he would because there's still quality there. Christian Eriksen has quality, Kobbie Mainoo we know has quality. Højlund has scored 14 goals in his first season at the club, 8 of those coming in the Premier League. United have 3 more games of their Premier League campaign remaining at home to Arsenal and Newcastle United before a trip to Brighton on the final day. For the 2nd season in a row, they meet Manchester City in the FA Cup final at Wembley on the 25th of May. Jamie Carragher tells Manchester United star to call it a day and move on after Crystal Palace defeat. Jamie Carragher claims Casemiro only has 3 games left at the top level and has urged the midfielder to leave Manchester United this summer. The 32-year-old was one of United's worst performers on Monday evening as Erik Ten Hag's side were hammered 4-0 by Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. The Brazilian midfielder was forced to play at centre-back due to United's injury crisis and made an error for both of Michael Olise's goals for Palace. And Carragher believes Casemiro's time with playing at the elite level should now be over. I said at half-time he's got to bring Casemiro off. I know he's got kids on the bench, Carragher said in his post-match analysis for Sky Sports. But I think Casemiro, deadly serious, should know tonight as an experienced player that he should only have another 3 games left at the top level, the next 2 league games and the cup final, and then he should be thinking, I need to go to the MLS or Saudi. I'm deadly serious. His agent, the team of people around him, they need to tell him, this has to stop. We are watching one of the greats of the modern times, playing in the best midfields we have seen who have dominated Europe, him holding, Toni, Kroos and Luka Modric alongside him, could easily go up against that Barcelona midfield that we all love of Sergio Busquets.